Ramadan is here again. A whole year has passed and time does fly. And if you are fasting, you might be wondering, how do I stay healthy and maintain my muscle and avoid burnout? Because let's be real, going all day without food and water and trying to train the way you usually do is probably not the best idea. And that's probably a recipe for disaster. But don't worry, I'm going to break down exactly what you should and shouldn't do to stay strong, energized, and healthy during Ramadan. If you are new here, I am Laith, and I've spent the last 20 years helping thousands of people reach their fitness goals and optimize for longevity. And for people watching that don't know what Ramadan is a holy month observed by Muslims around the world. It's a time of fasting, reflection, and spiritual growth. From sunrise to sunset, we don't eat or drink anything, including water. This fast is broken at sunset with iftar, and we have a short eating window until suhoor, which is the pre-dawn meal. But here's the thing, fasting changes everything. Your body isn't fueled like it normally is, which means if you train wrong, eat wrong, or recover poorly, which includes your sleep, you could lose muscle, feel exhausted, or even injure yourself. So let's try to avoid that, or at least optimize this month as best as we can. The first thing I would say do not do is don't train super hard. Do not consider training in Ramadan the same as you would train every other day, where you're hydrated, you've probably slept well, and your stress levels are managed. One of the biggest mistakes people make is training too hard during Ramadan because they feel they want to use this to optimize their time. But pushing heavy weights when you're dehydrated, low on nutrients, and probably sleep deprived is a very bad idea. It increases the risk of injury and burnout. The solution to that is probably switch to moderate weights and keep your rep ranges slightly higher than usual. So don't keep it between a 1 and a 6 rep range, maybe go up to 12 and 15 rep range, and just get the muscle to move and get blood flowing into there to avoid atrophy. The other thing is avoid skipping protein. Another huge mistake I notice that people or they struggle with is getting enough protein during Ramadan. During Ramadan, your body is in a fasted state for most of the day, which means that muscle breakdown can happen faster. If you're not prioritizing protein during the eating window, you are probably going to start losing muscle, not just the fat. And to fix this, one of the ways I do this is make sure that every meal has a solid amount of protein before anything else comes onto the plate. That includes lean meats, eggs, dairy, legumes, whatever it is that your protein source is, make sure you prioritize that first before anything else. And you can even throw in there protein shakes or even protein bars or yogurts to help you reach your protein goals, or at least get as close as you can. The third thing that I've noticed most people, including myself, is your poor sleeping habits. Now, for people that are staying up because of their prayers or because they're reading Quran or because they are meditating during this month, then there's nothing more to be said about that because you've prioritized that in terms of your life. But most people are doing this or staying up late because they're playing cards or watching TV or on their phone or visiting people till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and then they get a few hours sleep and they wake up. And that happens for a whole month. So you can see that the sleep deprivation that happens, it just starts to accumulate. If that is the case, then you should start to prioritize your sleep more and more and make sure you sleep at a reasonable hour, because you are going to wake up earlier and then back to sleep. So it is very cut up when it comes to your sleep. So what you should do and focus on a lot more is, like I said, the protein and the hydration. And the two biggest or the lowest hanging fruits I find in Ramadan is getting a lot of protein in as much as you can, and making sure you're hydrated. Privileged now that we are going to Ramadan when it's cold outside, but still you do need to hydrate to make sure that your body has enough liquids in it to sustain the day. As solutions, eat lean protein sources at every meal. If you're having 2 meals within that window, then make sure you have that. Drink plenty of water and fluids after iftar and during suhoor, and use protein shakes and bars if you are still struggling to get enough protein in. The second thing is train smarter. Maintain and don't max out. That's a very important thing. Your goal within Ramadan is to make sure you retain your muscle mass as much as possible and get through this without any injuries, and maintaining your habit of working out during this month. Don't just stop working out, because it'll be a lot harder to restart later on. Eat a balanced suhoor for sustained energy. So make sure the types of food that you eat, especially at suhoor, is something that's going to add a lot of value. Your last meal before you go into a fasting state, so make sure that it is optimized. Look at low digesting carbs like oats and whole grains and stuff like that. That'll give you a steady amount of energy throughout the day. Your proteins should be a priority as well, eggs and yogurts, lean meats to keep the muscles fueled, especially if you're working out, and healthy fats, avocados, nuts, olive oil, and so on, to make sure that the body has enough of the nutrients it needs. The other part of it is stay active, but you need to listen to your body. And what I mean by that is that if after you eat, you go for a walk for half an hour, then that's great. That's better than not doing anything. But if you feel fatigued and you can't get to the gym, and whatever priority for you is, whether you're fasted and you work out or after, whatever it is, you need to listen to your body. If you're feeling fatigued or tired or any pain, that's where you have to understand that it has to be modified. And you always get the questions of, when should I work out during Ramadan? Is it better to work out in the mornings when you're fasted or in the evenings? If I looked at an ideal situation, then working out when your body is fueled, so after you've eaten or just before sunset, then it gives your body the chance to have nutrients straight after it. But the reality is not everybody can do that. And some people can only work out in the morning because of work and obligations. So whatever works for you, do it. If you want to optimize, then you're looking at either right after you've eaten a small meal so your body has the fuel, or just before iftar, which is when most people want to do that. See, Ramadan is a time for self-discipline and reflection and growth, and that includes your health. If you train smart, eat right, and recover well, you'll come out stronger, not weaker, and maintain that habit throughout the year. So if you found this helpful or know somebody that would find this helpful, send it to them. Hit subscribe for more tips on training and nutrition and longevity. And let's make this Ramadan the healthiest one yet and maintain our habits. And if you've never fasted or never experienced this, I would highly recommend doing this for a couple of days, because the discipline that you get out of it and the feeling that you get out of it is something that a lot of people praise. So stay strong, stay healthy, and Ramadan Mubarak alayna jami'an, inshallah. If you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, you can do that below. I send out a weekly email with helpful tips, at least I like to think they are, and resources that you can use on your health journey. So subscribe below. YouTube seems to think you will enjoy this video here, so press on it. And if you found my information useful or somewhat entertaining, press on my face over here and subscribe to my channel. Until next week, enjoy.